The biggest takeaway for me, a modern mountain bike is incredibly capable. Mountain biking is pretty fun though.
What's up everybody, it's Jaryn here from Virtual Biking Board. This is blind. I took no practice laps yesterday and we're not allowed to take practice laps today. So this is probably going to be a disaster. Senor Levi, aka the Brown Bear, is letting me borrow his Specialized Enduro, which is pretty tricked out.
2023 Specialized Enduro. I lent to Jaryn this past weekend to do his, I think, second ever Enduro race on. He was apparently so blown away by this bike that he wanted me to just go through a couple things real quick on what makes this bike a little bit unique from the stock model. It was built from the frame up, so every component on here is custom. As you guys can probably tell, it takes quite a beating. One of the most important things in making a bike like this capable, especially at the bike park or an Enduro race, is going to be the suspension. So up front, we have a 180 millimeter travel Rockshox Zeb. It's a 38 millimeter stanchion fork, super beefy, a little bit more travel than stock, so 10 millimeters up, and this just kind of charges the front of the bike, allows you to smash into pretty much whatever you want. Tons and tons of fun. In the back of the bike as well, we have a Cascade link, just a little something special to make the bike just that much better than the way it came out of the factory. This increases the travel to 180 as well, so we got 180 front and rear. It also messes with the kinematics a little bit. You know, they make these bikes to make as wide of a range of people happy as possible, and this just kind of pushes it just a little bit more into that, you know, park bike heavy hitter. We got a 2024 Fox X2 on here, so biggest shock you can get from Fox at the moment. I do like the air spring on this bike. You know, it just gives it a little bit of liveliness for such a big bike, but yeah, allows somebody like me to ride it and someone like Jaryn as well, just pump it up, so I don't have to mess with any coils or whatnot, but that's straight out of the factory. And yeah, this bike will smash into whatever you want it to. Next category here is the brakes. These are the Hayes Dominion A4s. Hayes was kind of a giant in the brake industry back in the day, and when I saw them come back on the scene, I wasn't too sure what to think. I got a set just because I was curious, and they have blown me away. They've been on every bike I've owned over the last couple years, paired with 200 millimeter rotors, but endless power. The maintenance is not as demanding as a lot of the other companies out there. It seems like just kind of set them and forget them, and they answer all the questions. It's one of those components where they're so good that you almost kind of forget they're there. Tires and wheels, these are downhill casing, so super strong. Specialized Hillbilly tires. It was a wet race. These are definitely a wet weather tire. The wheels are Santa Cruz Reserve, so I do have Enduro wheel up front, the Reserve 30. This rear wheel is the downhill wheel, so it has a few more spokes and is just a little bit beefier, so I don't have to worry about smashing into just about anything that's out there. I did do a little bit of a custom color scheme on this bike, so silver hubs, silver spokes, just to kind of keep it fresh. Ties in with the link, stem, and we got these super sweet eeWings here. Basically, the only reason those are on the bike is because they're super cool. So we just got a few finishing touches that make this bike a little bit easier to ride day in and day out. Swap box here, we got plenty of storage. We got a tool roll that's got some of the bulky supplies. We also got this tool up top here for just super quick and easy adjustments. Generally, things I carry are tire plugs, a mini set of Nip-X pliers, and just some of the basics, nothing too crazy. This is a shifter from an e-bike, so small detail, but this only allows you to shift one gear at a time because I definitely tend to get a little bit greedy when shifting. This keeps everything running nice and smooth. Outside of that, just kind of your standard, you know, Sram X01 drivetrain, and yeah.
The one thing that I'm frustrated about is I would really like to clip in, but that is not possible. Little side bet, because we gotta make things interesting all the time. Peter, who has won the last like 2 out of his 3 races here at ESC, him and I made a bet. Whoever places lower in their category has to pay for the other person's entry fee. So I like to go into things with a pretty good amount of confidence, so it's looking like I'm probably not gonna have to pay for my entry fee today. That is the scoop. See ya.
I'm just bushwhacking down the mountain here, trying not to fall into a foxhole.
I think mountain bike racing is hard. Not practicing for a mountain bike race is harder, and I think not practicing or properly preparing for a mountain bike race in the absolute pouring rain is somewhere close to a nightmare. That being said, I did have a good time, so here's how it went.
Just a second, Jaryn. I'm out here on assignment for Berkshire Biking Board in the woods. We're having fun. We're out here waiting for bikers to go by and maybe we can film them. It might happen. We might get a biker again in another 10 minutes or so. Damn, I just missed Jaryn. There you go, Jaryn.
Oh, Jason.
I went up the trail for the guy who was super friendly, and we were talking, and basically like we both kind of were at the point where like, okay, it's now pouring rain. We haven't even raced the first stage yet. We're cold. Neither of us have done that much mountain biking this year. Pretty much none for both of us.
Best walking ever.
A clean day with no crashes is a good day. Now, I say that, but in the back of my head, I say, I'm gonna win this thing, because that's just who I am. So, I've got those two dichotomies playing in the back of my mind. Halfway through the first stage, I go off the trail. I can't figure out where the race trail is actually gonna go. So I have to stop. And I end up waiting for like almost 2 minutes, I think it was, for the next guy to come down. He comes down, I jump on his wheel, we go to the bottom, he actually smokes me, and I think to myself, probably not gonna win this one. Which was a bummer, but like, I had no shot at winning, realistically. Stage 1, more of a downhill stage, I didn't like it. We go across the street to Warfield for stages 2 and 3. I love riding Warfield. The trails are amazing. It doesn't get ridden a lot because it's not lift access, so the trails aren't really blown out. I had a lot of fun over there. There's 2 30-minute climbs to get to the top of the segment. So we finished Warfield. I'm probably 2.5 hours into my 4-hour day at that point. I'm freezing cold. I'm sweating. I'm stoked. I'm soaked. I'm hungry. And I'm just like, mountain bike racing sucks. Why am I here? To take Peter's money. A modern mountain bike is an unbelievable piece of machinery. I'd be riding towards a route, and the route is basically cross the trail diagonally. You know, and it's like off camber. And everything about that turn, the front wheel should wash out. You know, it's muddy, it's soaking wet, the roots are wet, it's cold enough where it's practically freezing. And I'm taking off-camber turns over diagonal routes, almost like intentionally trying to get my front wheel to slip out, and the thing just rides right over it. Just like, oh my God, how is there this much traction? There was a little bit of excitement because how ESC works, or the Enduro States Cup, Enduro racing in general, is at the end of the stages, you take your timing chip, which is on your wrist, and you turn it into the timing official. And they basically take your chip, they upload it to a computer, and your time for the day spits out onto a TV. And my time spit out of like 10 guys, I was the top of the list. I was in first place. I start getting pretty excited because you know what? A win's a win. And not that many people showed up, but I'm like, if I can sneak away with a gold medal here today, I get a lot of street cred back here at the bike shop, which means I can get to tell all these little teenagers what to do, and they just, without even questioning, they just do it. So it's like, a win would really be good here. I finish, I give them the time chip, and I'm in first place. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm definitely going to win. And I'm going to stick around for the podium because I want the photo for the YouTube video. And then all of a sudden, I see Peter's sorry ass roll through after the third stage. He's tired, he's cold, and I gas him up and I let him know that I'm in first place and he's going to have to pay me $125 for my entry fee. And I think that was a mistake because he all of a sudden does a 180 and gets fired up. There was a lot of let's goes. And he goes marching up the trail to do his last 2 laps. I'm sitting around to bask in my victory. And Peter comes down and he's smiling. I'm like, what's going on here? And he turns his timing chip in. And sure enough, and not only did Peter go into first place automatically, I was bumped down to like 3rd or 4th place at that point. I ended up coming in 4th. But basically, I knew it was over because Peter was one of the last guys to finish. And I did not win it. My first mountain bike ride of the year was an Enduro mountain bike race. Unfortunately. The icing on the cake here is a little bit of discomfort is really good for us as humans. For the 4 hours that I was racing my mountain bike, my hands were cold, and my feet were cold. Then I was wet and my pants were sticking to the inside of my legs, and that was uncomfortable. But I always have this kind of mantra in my brain of like, discomfort is good for us. Discomfort is good for us. Because when you finish, and you get into some dry clothes, and you get back to your house, and you take a shower, you just feel so much better about yourself. And the little things that maybe we take for granted often, like brushing our teeth and being clean and warm water and a nice hot cup of soup be it, it's like we're so grateful for that after a really hard day with a lot of discomfort into it. And that's why I think everybody should get out there. They should race mountain bikes. They should do what makes them uncomfortable because there's a lot of growth in that. And it makes me really grateful for the little things in life. So, with that said, I lost the race. I did pay Peter his money. Round up for distance, round up for time. Thanks for watching.